Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Hey, welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show. It's me, Greg, and I got my partner in crime today, Timothy, with me. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah?
What a great day.
It's been a good day.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Yeah.
Which is good for you.
And now it's the end of the day.
It's almost the end.
Now we get to record the podcast and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
We got some fun stuff today, though.
We have our first in-house interview today.
In-house, yeah. We have our first in-house
interview at all, really. We haven't really gotten anything.
It's kind of a roundtable discussion that we're going to have in a little bit here. And the roundtable discussion is going to be around a round item.
A round item, yes.
Yeah, the moon.
Not the table. Because
we're going to talk. Well, the table's not round. We discussed that. Yeah, the table's not round. We discussed that later. So it's about the moon and about the moon landing, essentially. So if you're at all interested in finding out what some people think about the moon landing, by some people, I mean Tim's good buddy,
Chuck. So we have Chuck Buhr. He's a good buddy of mine. He has his own podcast. If you want to check it out, we'll have some.
We'll have it linked in the description there. Yeah.
He's a local businessman for the last 20 some odd years. And he's a good friend of mine, like I said. So we brought him on to get some interesting discussion, and he brought some good points. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Hey, and also we have another person that's going to be joining us today, and she's going to be joining us virtually.
Yeah. Hint is fire.
It is fire. And she is...
And sweating.
And she is fire.
Yeah, and you are sweating.
I will be, apparently. We're going to be trying out some hot sauces later. So if you want to check that out, we chapter everything below. Yeah. So we got the Chuck interview coming up right away. And then we've got a hot sauce compilation of Tim eating hot sauces on chicken wings along with me.
We're all eating chicken wings with hot sauces.
We're all eating chicken wings with hot sauces. But I think what we should do first is just get right into it. We got a good jam-packed episode of these couple interviews. It's not the same general format that we normally do, so I don't care how your week was, Tim. Let's just roll.
You ready? Ask me how my week was?
No.
Okay, let's roll.
Let's roll. Cheers.
Cheers. Grab your phone, it's podcast time. It's the Greg and Tim Show. It's the Greg and Tim Show. Let's go to the roundtable discussion with our buddy Chuck.
Say Cosmic Pals, before you embark on this intergalactic adventure with the Greg and Tim Show, we've got a celestial heads up for you. The Lunar discussions you're about to encounter regarding moon landings are purely for entertainment purposes. Greg and Tim may wax poetic on moon conspiracies, but please take it with a sprinkle of stardust and a dash of humor. Fact-checking aficionados, brace yourselves. We admit, our fact-checking rocket might have been on a coffee enema, so consider any moon-related fact as subject to the laws of interstellar jesting. We're here to tickle your funny bone, not launch you into a debate with NASA. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the lunar roller coaster that is the Greg and Tim Show. Remember, we're in it for the giggles, not the gravity.
Welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show. We're going to be doing one of what I hope is many roundtable discussions.
Roundtables.
And the reason
we got a rectangular table though.
It's kind of oval.
I asked you to spring for a round table, and you said you didn't have the money for it.
Well, I don't.
It'd be so much easier with a round table. I could walk around it.
So we actually have our first guest in studio today.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to have all of us here today to talk about this issue is because I think there's a problem.
This issue.
There's a problem in North America and specifically in Canada in that everybody has their own opinion, but nobody gets together and actually talks about it in a respectful way. Like you used to have shows that would do counterpoint, counterpoint. And
back in the day,
you would agree to disagree. And now everything is one way or the highway, and we have so much diversity that doesn't exist anymore, right?
Truthfully, though, it is one way or the highway.
Right.
It's the right way.
Yeah.
Or Tim's way.
So sometimes we're going to have serious discussions amongst a bunch of guys here.
Yeah.
Sometimes the topics are going to be more light. Today's topic is going to be a little bit more light than some of the other.
How many more guys do you think we could fit in here?
1, 2.
Okay, let's just
5.
welcome Chuck.
So welcome Chuck to the table.
Chuck is here.
So Chuck, who we introduced before.
Yeah.
He is here because we now are a perfect triad of our opinions about the topic, and the topic is: did the moon landing Have we
actually
been to
happened.
the moon?
Have we been to the moon?
Did the moon landing exist? Has it been faked by NASA, et cetera, et cetera? This is the
Stanley
question we're
Kubrick.
talking about.
Stanley Kubrick directed the movie, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So I, on one end of the spectrum, I'm not a believer. I'm a skeptic. I think it's all phooey to the point where I don't even look into it. I spent this entire week, the first hour after Zach's message of words of wisdom
Yep.
that I would go over. I would then go into documentaries about how we had never been to the moon.
How's your
great.
Instagram algorithm going right now?
You drove me nuts. But that's me.
It's gonna last for like weeks now.
Yeah, no. So Greg, I think we all know that he loves the topic. He loves to research it. It interests him, but he doesn't necessarily believe what he's looking at.
So Chuck, just to give you a little bit background, I like conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Tim despises conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I know he does.
The reason why he despises them is because he's like, why do we have to waste our time talking about these things? And to me, it's fun to learn and to look into and to like, there's a lot of conspiracy. We're not going to get into all of them.
No.
We're just going to talk about the moon today because there's a lot of different ones. But to me, it's fun to learn about because I'd like to know what other people's perspectives are. Right. We've talked about the Mandela effect. We've talked about briefly about the moon thing, and flat Earth. I've had private conversations with him. I don't think we've talked about it here yet. I think one of these times we'll talk about flat Earth.
Give me a couple weeks break, and we'll go into that one.
And essentially,
I know lots about that too.
Yeah. So I like to learn about it. I like to talk about it, and I like to be devil's advocate about it.
Yeah,
Tim. And I think the reason why we're bringing you on today is because Tim.
Well, no. The reason
Tim is very hard on one side.
Yeah,
and it's hard for me to argue the other side without me looking like I fully believe it because I don't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I can't get into it
so
to be fully believing it.
Are you on the moon landing and being fake, or like percentage wise?
Well, let's not get into that yet. But just to confirm, so we have a believer here on the panel.
Yes,
and
a believer that it was faked.
Yeah,
yeah,
a true believer. Definitely. So he completes the triad.
Yeah.
Of individuals with different
non-believer. What do they call it? The poop disturber.
Yeah, and
the believer, right? So I'm going to try to moderate the two of you before you go to blows on this whole thing. But his question at the beginning was, how much do I believe about it? I believe as much as I can, to the point where I can't prove one way or the other. There's so many videos that go both ways that I can't prove one way or the other. So I can't believe one or the other. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't, in the end, it doesn't change my life.
No.
Right? So like, it doesn't change whether or not I like live a certain way. So that's the hard part for me. So I'm probably 50-50.
However, I would say it does change your life in a way because for you, it's entertainment. From what I'm getting the gist here, like you like looking into this stuff. You're interested in it and you like a good conspiracy theory. So it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, at the very least.
Least.
People watch sports, people watch movies, soap operas. For me, that's what this is for me.
Yep.
And I'm kind of lean your way too, on the most part. Like I love every conspiracy theory I hear. Doesn't mean I believe them though.
Yeah.
But I love them all.
You haven't met one that you don't like yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love them all. They're all because they're so interesting.
Yeah.
But whether I believe it or not, no.
Yeah.
Like in the conspiracy theory world, I'm actually very moderate. I'm a logical conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Whereas Tim doesn't believe nothing. You're kind of
I like
where
to learn.
you are. You like to learn.
Yeah.
Moonlight, I'm hardcore, and some of them I'm hardcore. But I've had discussions with people in the conspiracy theory community, and they're just some of them, a lot of them, so many rabbit holes they go down, and you can't get them out. You can't get them anywhere near out. And I was talking with one guy. He unfriended me on Facebook because I was so big on the moon landing. I've had about, I think to date, I got about 12 people who have unfriended me or deleted me as a friend.
Do you share
because
this
I
stuff on
posted
Facebook?
about the moon landing?
Oh, okay.
Because of the moon landing.
Yeah.
Why would they unfriend me about this? Like, How would it offend them so much that I post these things about the moon landing? If they think it's true, difference doesn't make what I say.
So if they posted that the moon landing was true, would you comment on their stuff? Do you know what I mean?
Like on their posts?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Not much, though. I'm more of I post my thing, and if people want to engage with me, then I'm in for that. I'm always all in.
Yeah.
But I don't typically go to other people's page and cause trouble.
For me, I think the one thing is that everybody's got to have the ability to allow everybody to tell their perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why, like, I'm going to get you to tell yours and you to tell yours, is because, like you said, you can post something and then they'll, discredit or they'll unfriend or they'll argue and that type of thing. And it's their right to argue and unfriend,
sure.
whichever they want to do. Right?
I love it.
But
I don't care.
But at the same time, they have to be willing for you to post your thing.
Yeah.
Right? So, right.
That's all I ask. That's all I always say to people.
Which is what I was trying to say at the beginning of the segment, is that this is the practice run for, I might not agree with what you have to say, but I'm still good friends with you.
Yeah.
And we can agree to disagree. And I think
right.
that aspect of conversation has been lost.
So you weren't the one that unfriended him.
I would
not yet.
I have unfriended a couple people, but it's not
on
very often, and it's typically on the other end of the political spectrum, not his.
Okay.
I won't get into more of that. So, do you want to get into specifics? Like, can I ask you, Chuck, why do you think that the moon landing was faked?
Okay, first of all, I'll start off by saying that I used to believe the moon landing really happened. I used to believe, and if somebody would, like me now, would post things, I would debate with them.
Yeah.
And I would try to be logical with them and say, no, this explains this and that. So I used to be like that. I was on Tim's side of the table, actually.
Okay.
On that. But then I got more and more curious because people kept bringing stuff up and
TikTok happened.
Yeah. So of course, then I generally get more curious and want to research myself and all this. And by research, I don't mean just go one-sided. I look at both sides. Like I like looking at these videos that debunk the moon landing too, so that I can see what they're saying.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff they say is bonk themselves.
Yeah.
It's stuff that has been debunked already by people who don't believe in the moon landing. But people want to hang on to this love of the moon landing, though, is what I find. Because Star Wars, Star Trek, all this stuff, everybody's in love, so excited about space travel, and it gets them so crazy. Like I said, I'm getting people unfriending me and blocking me.
Yeah.
So
you believed it before. I've been to the Johnson Space Center, touched a moon rock.
Yeah. Petrified wood.
You're telling me that it's not a moon rock. Okay. I saw like all these samples from the moon. So you're telling me that those aren't samples from the moon. Okay. I saw the lunar lander, like the thing that landed on the moon. So that never landed on the moon. No. I saw the set. They had the set there of the moon landing. So are you saying that was the set that they used?
No.
Okay.
That was the set they were going to use, and they had because they wanted a backup.
Okay.
To show the Russians and all that, because they were gonna, maybe they filmed some stuff there, but there was a hangar in Pennsylvania actually where they did most of it.
Okay.
From what I've discovered.
Pennsylvania. Why would they do it there and not somewhere like Nevada where they have their special areas?
Because they want a controlled environment inside. And it was a big airplane hangar, a Navy, or what do you call it? Is Navy boat or Air Force?
Air Force
hangar. Okay. And so anyway, there's a guy I heard in an interview. He's 80 years old.
Yeah.
And he walked into this hangar one day. He was a young guy at the time in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So he had to go get a plane or whatever he was doing. So he went into this hangar, and this is 1968 when he went in there. And he walked into this huge hangar, and he said the ceiling and the walls were all painted black, and the entire floor was sand. And he thought, and there's cameras and lighting everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's saying, this is weird. What kind of a weird hangar is this? And then he looked on the wall, and he said that he saw 2 or 3 swim suits or whatever with helmet. Like he thought it was for swimming, like these space suits.
Okay.
And with a globe, like to keep the water out. That's what he thought it was, because this is 1968. Moonlight never happened yet. Well, it never has, but the fake TV show never happened yet.
Yeah.
So he didn't know what it was, eh? And then he discovered later, oh, that's what I saw, like when he saw the moon landing.
So the things that I've heard about the moon landing being fake, and Tim can tell his side in just a second here. So the things that I've heard about the moon landing being fake, and these are the things that make me question it, not to prove that it's fake. So one, do we have the technology to land people on the moon? Because as of 4 days ago, Japan doesn't have the technology to land an unmanned aircraft properly on the moon because it landed on its side, apparently. Two, do we have the technology to call back to Earth from the moon when we had no cell phones, no communications equipment like we do today? And then three, do we have the technology to launch from the moon when it takes so much power? And I know there's less gravity on the moon, but so much power to launch from Earth, right? So these are all the questions that I had. I'm going to let Tim answer a couple of those, and then I'd like you to kind of jump in on some of that if you can.
Okay.
So the specifics, I think you can make a good conspiracy about anything you want to.
Yeah.
It's sure. Like if you have anything that you've so-called quote-unquote proven, somebody can come and say, well, prove it to me.
Yeah.
And they already have. I mean, or they ask you to disprove their theory. It's their theory. Yeah. So all of a sudden I'm having to disprove someone else's theory that's never been proven. Logically, that makes no sense to me. So historically, when back in the 60s, there were two groups or two countries, Russia and the US, that were in a battle to go to space.
Yeah.
Okay, so logically to me, I'm the kind of guy, the most logical explanation is usually the right one, or probably is.
Yeah.
Right? And so it doesn't fit the test of logic to suggest that if the US actually faked this, then Russia, A, knows about it, and B, isn't saying anything about it.
So, like, my questions were...
Which one specifically?
The communications. How do they communicate back to the Earth?
That's above my pay grade.
Okay.
I watched several documentaries and they had explanations of each, but on the other side, it was always, well, no, that's impossible. There's when you give some kind of counter proof to it.
Yeah.
And some of them, like, there's one where why did the flag wave when there was no wind on the moon? And the explanation was, well, the flag didn't wave, the pole that was attached to it did, and you could...
Because there was a pole that went across the top of the flag too, and that's what was moving.
Right. So you could go down each of them.
Well, why would the pole wave? What was waving it?
Well, when they put it in the ground, it can move, right? Because it's on a swivel on the top.
So they immediately took a picture that second? I'm sure it would stop right away.
But that is a explanation.
Yes. There's explanation for each of them. The other one that was brought up was, well, when the rocket landed, it only displaced a little bit of sand, and if you had that powerful of a rocket, it would displace tons more area. But they said, no. When you're getting closer and closer to the ground, it slows down just like a regular helicopter, whatever it does. The power dissipates, and you actually don't have as much of a dispersion on that one. You actually see that when other countries have flown around it, you do see displaced sand, rock, whatever you have, right?
Who sees that? Who says that they're seeing that? From where?
There are 17
telescope.
70 different. No, they have orbiting capabilities. There's 17 countries that have orbiting capabilities that can actually see the moon. Again, someone who's a conspiracy theorist will say, well, that's not true either, just as a blanket statement.
Because that'll go into the whole flat Earth.
Yeah, and I don't want to go into flat Earth.
Not necessarily.
They do kind of cross paths, right?
Yeah, they do cross over a little bit.
Right. So those are a couple things. You can go down each of the reasons and give those explanations. Your specific examples, I did not look into those ones. But there must be like hundreds of different explanations of these things. I can't go to every one of them.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you right now, specific anomalies about the moon landing, there's a million of them. I'm not prepared for that. There's a million anomalies, and there's also a million debunks. Okay. So that part can go back and forth. Like, for instance, the lighting on the moon, like there's pictures with different lighting. There should only be light coming from one direction, the sun.
So
that one is like I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about that one. So that one is more about the shadows being caused by like the camera equipment and caused by so there is other lighting being provided on the moon with the equipment that was landed there, right? So I'll ask you a question then. Why did they fake it?
Why?
Yeah. So if you think that they faked it, why would they fake it?
Because, well, okay, money, first of all. Before NASA landed on the moon, they had zero budget almost. Like, but they had to really rah America to even get the money to do this, to get going with this. And
it was Kennedy's big thing, right?
They don't have, and people loved him. So okay,
some people loved him.
They did until they didn't.
One guy didn't anyway.
Some loved him too much. You know, like when you get that dog and you just squeeze it so much.
Yeah.
Right.
So this moon landing was their big Broadway show.
Okay.
To make it big and have everybody on board, every American. Nobody cares anymore about how much money they throw at NASA because of the moon landing.
Okay.
And then subsequently the space shuttle and all this other stuff. So the money just keeps pouring in, trillions. They get like 60, I don't know, you can check me on this, but something like $60 million a day.
Well, we have a preamble that says we're not fact checking anything. This is all this is all just guys talking. And this is all for entertainment purposes, because obviously the three of us, none of us are on the inside of this. Yeah. So neither of us is going to prove this. The only thing that's going to happen is we're going to get some comments from people saying that
or hopefully we do.
Tim is a dummy, or Chuck is a dummy, or Greg should have held back a little bit. I don't know. We'll get comments about it on both sides, because there is both sides. I got a question for you though. Your TikTok. Do you have TikTok?
I do, but I don't go on
Instagram
much. Yeah, Instagram. Okay. I'm mostly on Facebook.
The algorithm that you have, what does it show you?
What do you mean, what does it show me?
What do you see for the most part?
On Instagram, I see a lot of space, NASA stuff, obviously.
Both sides probably, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing I get is that there's both sides to the story that are consistently being shown on TikTok or Instagram. Whether or not you believe one side or the other, you're going to see both sides of the story. What, in the end, if we didn't go to the moon, and they have a plan now to go back to the moon in 2 years, do you think
they're actually... Which is interesting, because they said they could never do it because they lost all the telemetry data and it was hard to build it back. They've said this over and over.
Well, hard's not possible, but
that's what they say. First, they said they lost it all. They lost the tech, they lost the telemetry data, and then later on, I guess people were calling them on it and saying, well, how do you lose this? And they say, oh, no, we didn't lose it. We erased it. We deleted it. Some guy erased it.
Oh, okay.
That's like me, like when I'm 13, I take my VHS tape of a nice home video that my mom wanted to keep, and I tape a Triumph video or whatever over it. That's what I did, actually. Like, this is NASA. These guys should know their stuff. This is the most important thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things mankind's ever done, actually. And they erase it. Okay. See, these are the things that I don't care about the anomalies anymore. Like the stuff you're saying about lighting, the flag, whatever. I don't even care about that anymore. I care about them, NASA, liars.
I don't think any of us are smart enough to give details and explain that this scientific, none of us have degrees last time I checked in science. So any of us that suggest,
you're a history major.
Yeah. Any of us that suggest that,
and you don't know how many states there are in the United States.
It's impossible for this rock to move this way. I think it's a little bit much to assume that any of us have that capability. I'm into history. I'm a history major. Okay. The history of the whole moon landing being fake is one gentleman who owned or worked in a company that did some contracts with NASA.
Okay.
And he basically saw a document that said that it would be very difficult or impossible to go to the moon like 2 or 5 years or 10 years, somewhere before that.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
They got to the moon.
They got to the moon, and he by the way, that document he never took it out and showed anybody. That apparently got lost too. So if we're talking about lost documents, that one doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And he said because it was very, very difficult. By the way, just because something's very, very difficult doesn't mean it actually happens in history. It happens all the time when we don't think something's possible, and it happens.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't be the first time in history, whether sporting, whether it be going to the moon, these kinds of things, it wouldn't happen. But
so
again, I don't think any of us, like you asked me the question earlier, let's disprove this. I can't disprove that. And if I thought I could, I would be a science.
I think that's the fun part for me, is that I can't disprove it one way or the other.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying now is I don't need a science degree to judge NASA's actions and things they say. I don't care about the anomalies anymore. I started off to getting into the anomalies. That's how I got started on this. But then I started to realize NASA, a bunch of liars. They lie all the time. They say things that aren't true. They pass off a lot of things, and most people believe it and love them because they love NASA so much, like they're God to.
Well, I'm going back. I'm going to the Kennedy Space Center in March. Okay, I'm excited for that.
Just a question.
You're going to see.
What kind of government agency doesn't lie?
Well, exactly.
They all lie, and it doesn't mean it's fake.
Well, but a lot of stuff is though.
Yeah, but the question is this, right?
Okay. Okay, I'm going to get this guy's name right, but here's just one example. Bart Sibrel, he's a conspiracy theorist. He has his own channel.
Yep.
He calls himself ABC something.
Okay.
So it sounds legit, eh? So he went up to Neil Armstrong and he was looking for him, and he wanted to swear on the Bible that he went to the moon.
Yeah.
Or Neil Armstrong says nope, runs away from him, even punched him.
No, that was
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin.
So then the fact checkers say, "Oh, this doesn't prove anything. Just Neil Armstrong."
Didn't the fact checker say he didn't actually say that?
No, he said it.
No, there's video of it.
Yeah, there's video.
It was at a conference.
That's right. So then Bart, I forgot his name. His name Bart, whatever.
Simpson.
Yeah, Sibrel. Anyway, he goes, "Okay, tell you what, I'm going to go talk to every astronaut that has ever allegedly gone to the moon, and every Apollo mission." He went to all of them. He found them at shopping centers. He found them at conferences. He went everywhere and he found them. And all of them ran away from him. One punched him. One kicked him even. Yeah. One threatened to sue him. And Bart pulls out his business card and says, "I wish you would. Here's my information. I invite a lawsuit. Because if this goes to court of law, now they all have to swear and an oath to tell the truth."
Yeah.
And that's what this guy wants, this Bart guy.
Okay.
So he's inviting a lawsuit, and none of these guys will go for it. None of them will swear on the Bible. They all run away from him and swear, punch, call him an a-hole, whatever. All of them. And not just the first three. I think he saw all of them, Michael Collins too, but then all the ones from the subsequent Apollo missions, he got them all. All of them acted the same way.
Did you get Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Didn't Tom Hanks?
That's another whole conspiracy theory right there. That guy,
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, she went to the moon. That that movie. Sorry, faked going to the movie.
Well, the movies are more believable than the actual moon landing.
Well, because they got better technology now.
Mark Wahlberg went to the
Stanley
moon.
Kubrick didn't have the greatest technology, right? So
Stanley Kubrick. Oh,
how do you think he became so popular? All government funded,
right?
Oh.
Also, Tim, a question about the moon landing. If it happened and everything that they say happened, why hasn't anybody else put a man on the moon like other countries?
Good question.
I think it was a race for first. It's like
well, that's fine.
We're talking about the silver
But if it's
medal.
so easy to go to the moon now because they got the tech, why not keep going back and bringing stuff and building cities, whatever?
Just because something is easy to do, or not easy, like to suggest that it was easy to go to the moon is different than saying they actually went to the moon. Those are two different things. But again, being second place, let's say you're the Soviets. Let's assume for a second you come my way and do the opposite question that it actually happened. And the U.S. came to the moon to say they could go to the moon, and the Soviets don't see a point in going to the moon then because they are second place. They are a silver. There's no point.
Yep.
We weren't first, so what's the point? You're talking lots of things, logistics, cost-wise. Does it make any sense to go to the moon to set up settlements? There's A, B, C, D. That could be other answers to that question.
So does the first person gets to top Mount Fuji and that's it? No one else goes anymore?
Well, we are
Tons of people.
The plan is the movie set gets started this year and we record in 2025, right?
For
because
what?
They're going to the moon landing. So obviously, because we can't go and we haven't gone, then we can't go in 2025. So the technology, I would assume, is therefore to have a big movie. It'll be like the Truman Show, where it's not really real.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give Chuck first opportunity. I'm sorry, Chuck, because he's one of the hosts. He gets to go last.
Co-host.
One of the hosts.
Co-host.
Co-host. I'm gonna give you the floor to say. I'm going to give you, what do you need, 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
I'll give you 2 minutes to tell us why the moon landing didn't happen without any interruptions and no arguments from Tim. And then, Tim, you get last word.
Like I said, I've seen enough about anomalies. I don't care about that anymore. They can be debated to death. I care about the integrity of NASA in general and the things they say and the lies they get caught on and the lies people don't care about. And I think it's all a big show. Even like you're going to go down there and you're going to see a building and thousands of people and you're going to believe it all too.
You're going to love it.
It's going to be great. Yeah, you're going to love it.
I'm a big tourist.
And you're going to see a rocket maybe go off, maybe if you're lucky. And you know what's going to happen to that rocket? It's going to go like this and it's going to go straight down into the ocean.
I don't want to see a rocket taking off because then it's really busy and I'm not very good with people.
Well, anyway, that's what's going to happen. In the Bermuda Triangle, they got tons of rockets lying in the water there. That's where they all go.
Okay.
And so I think it's all show. And here's a little bit of proof for you. Neil Armstrong has a walk on the Walk of Fame. He has a star. And I thought that was interesting. He's not an actor or nothing. So I looked up how you can get a star. Stars are monuments to achievement in the entertainment industry, bearing names of actors, directors, producers, musicians, and theatrical groups, fictional characters, and others. Which one is Neil Armstrong?
So is Neil Armstrong, sorry to interrupt, I said I wouldn't, but is Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the Walk of Fame?
No, just
Neil Armstrong?
Just Neil Armstrong from what I'm seeing. Buzz Aldrin could have been called to be there too. People can turn it down or whatever if they want. But why is Neil Armstrong? He's not an actor. He's not in the entertainment industry, although he is. I'm saying he is in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because the moon landing was entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I think. And there are people who have taken close-up shots of the moon on certain days. This is getting a little bit deeper, and I know it's last minute, but they can see stars through the moon. And people have been looking into this, and they think the moon is a light source. The Bible even says that. I don't have the verse, but it's its own light source. And NASA has told us that is a reflection of the sun, is what we're seeing on the moon.
Okay.
But it's not that. People have measured the temperature of moonlight. It's actually cooler than the air around it or whatever, because they got ways to measure it. So some kind of weird light, the moon has its own light source. Like I say, we can even look it up in the Bible. It's there somewhere. There's lots of stuff in the Bible that people don't know about, that they just take for granted. Oh, it means this, means that, or they don't even care. But anyway, yeah, I think it's all a big show, and I don't care about the anomalies. They can debate those to death. Doesn't bother me anymore. I care about integrity of NASA. Liars.
Okay.
You still have 30 seconds.
Yeah. No. He went over by a minute. But I interrupted. That's fine.
Yeah.
By the way, I think he's not the only non-entertainer on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's what I was checking out. Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, I saw you on your phone.
Yeah, I got kicked under the
Everybody saw you on your phone.
I was fact-checking that. I believe there's a couple people that
I told everybody that we're not fact-checking.
Who else?
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
that's what I did
it's in the beginning. Did you not
I don't listen sometimes.
Yeah.
I admit that.
I'd like to know who else. Because if you find their name, you might dig a little deeper and find out maybe they produced something. Right. Maybe they wrote something. Because it's not just actors.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they were in movies you haven't seen.
So you think NASA would like
special movies?
What that's I have a whole thing I want to read here, but that would just be silly. Why would NASA put him on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and tell people he was really an actor?
Because
too stupid.
They're putting the truth in plain sight.
Why?
More and more as we get towards what's coming. They want the truth. if you understand, okay, I know you're going to laugh at this too, maybe, but if you understand Freemason, cult, religion, whatever you want to call it, you get into that. You start to understand how they operate. Yeah. They have to tell the truth. They have to put the truth in plain sight. It's part of their code.
Right.
And then they do whatever they want. This is their code.
Right. It's like,
so you have to understand that too. And that's a big part of why I don't believe the moonlighting happened. And all the space programs have an insignia. Part of their insignia is a Freemason cult symbol. So they're all wrapped into this Freemason stuff. Right. And they're all, I mean, I don't want to look like crazy, not going, oh, they're controlling the world and they're all this and that. But they are.
I won't edit it like that at all.
Puppets. Hey?
Yeah.
I won't edit it at all like that.
It's like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar. They just can't tell a lie. Anyway,
so Tim actually has a prepared statement.
I have a prepared statement
that he stole from the internet.
No. This was sent to me by NASA for this debate. I got an email this morning.
I'm going to give a quick disclaimer here. If the original writer of this sees this video, we will figure out who you were and give you full credit for this. But here we go.
To imply that we have not been to the moon, you are not just saying NASA is lying. You aren't just saying there's a single conspiracy within one company. You're actually implying there's a conspiracy involving the world's 71 space agencies, 13 of which have launch capabilities. Not only are you saying all 71 of these agencies are lying, but every person within those organizations are lying, or they're just being fooled. Furthermore, if this is true, then every single astrophysicist in the world is a scam artist getting paid to do research through telescopes and instruments that would be useless. So roughly 75,000 people are lying about what they do for a living and getting paid for it. Not only is it absurd to even imply that the NASA program under the United States government could possibly pull this sort of conspiracy off, but the fact that all 71 space agencies around the world are also taking part in some conspiracy, and every astrophysicist and every astronaut is also part of that same cover-up. It just seems like so many different people are involved in this major conspiracy. I personally have an easier time believing we actually went to the moon rather than that scenario I just read out loud.
Yeah, and I've read that. I know you don't want me to say anything else, but I got lots of answers to what you just said. Maybe for another show.
We might have to leave it for another show. Well, thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you coming on because I know it's not easy to have the other point of view. Generally, I have to have the other point of view here because Tim likes to be the
reasonable one.
The reasonable one, right?
And
I'm not saying that you're unreasonable. I'm just saying that I like to question things as well, and I understand where you're coming from. So I do appreciate you coming on because I do think that it takes guts to put out what your beliefs are, right, whether they're one way or the other way, when it comes to a lot of different things that are going on in this world. Yeah. So it takes a ton of guts to do that. So I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate you coming on the show. So Tim, now that Chuck's gone, tell me what you really think.
What I really think?
Yeah, tell me what you really think.
That guy's nutty.
I'm kidding. He's right there.
Oh, he's right there.
Chuck didn't leave.
We didn't.
Chuck's sticking around. He wants to try some hot wings with us. Chuck's going to try some hot wings with us. So that brings me to our next guest. Yeah. Our next guest is the inventor of Fire Flames Inc. Yeah. And, well, let's just get right into that one.
See why? And you're going to love this segment, so stay tuned. Yeah,
he's great.
Let's go right
into the interview. Hey, Tim, today we got a special guest that is also joining us remotely. So we had somebody in studio talking about the moon landing, and today we're also going to talk remotely to a friend of mine. She has just launched a brand new company called
something that is
Fire Flames.
In my heart of hearts.
Yes.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauces. You love the hot sauce.
That's my nickname in high school and also what I enjoy to put on my hot wings.
I don't know if that's your nickname in high school, but anyways, Jen has created these 3 brand new hot sauces. She is from Ontario, in Toronto, Ontario, and we wanted to have her on the show to talk about it because, well, I'm friends with Jen and I'd love to promote her product, and I want to try it.
Absolutely.
Looking
forward to it.
So let's bring Jen in here. Hey, Jen, how you doing today?
Hey, guys. Great. How you doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Very good.
We're ready. We've got the wings ready. We've got 3 wings for Tim, 3 wings for me, and then Chuck off camera, who was here earlier. He's going to try some as well. and we're going to get right into it and see how these taste for one thing.
Yep.
Because do
we have to wait to taste them? I'm like really looking forward.
You really want to just try the wings out?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you ask the first question and you give me a sample of one of them?
Okay. So, Jen, we're going to start out with the friendly fire. I haven't opened these yet since you sent them, so brand new in the package. So let's get a test. Nice little packaging. Open this guy. So Jen, tell us while we're trying out the friendly fire here. Tell us what got you into this.
Well, I've always been a hot sauce lover, I guess, kind of like Tim, and I was just getting sick of asking for hot sauce at restaurants and they would send me some sort of spiced vinegar. So I was always pretty passionate about kind of finding and sourcing the best hot sauces out there and trying a bunch of them. And then the inspiration really came from my husband's Guyanese side of the family. They are into authentic pepper sauce and they make it at home. And throughout the pandemic, we would always kind of, go over there and grab the sauce, and kind of just got sick of having to leave the house and go grab hot sauce. And this was one of the sauces that I was inspired by because it was very healthy and natural in terms of ingredients, and ended up just trying to make it myself in the kitchen. And so that's kind of how the idea started, and it morphed into what it is now. But yeah, here we are, a couple of years in the making, and finally decided to launch it in December last year.
This one has some kick.
Yeah, I just tried this, and this is the friendly fire. When you have 3 flavors, friendly fire is the first one we tried. And if I just give you my credit card and you just have it, and you just send me hot sauces periodically,
like hot sauce of the month,
I'm good with that. Like, you spend whatever you want. That was so good. It had some kick to it. It's got the green. What makes up the green coloring?
Well, so I can tell you about the sauces. I mean, so the green one was actually made by accident. The red one is a classic kind of red pepper, garlic, vinegar, salt, authentic kind of pepper sauce. And that's the one that I was after. That's the one that I was trying to make in my kitchen. And so I went to the grocery store, grabbed a bunch of different red peppers and played around with the ingredients. Because of course my husband's family did not have a recipe. It was like, throw a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so
that's how I make stuff.
Just kind of had to practice in the kitchen. And the red one emerged first, and that one was good enough for us to be satisfied. And then the green one happened by accident because when I went to get all the peppers at the grocery store, I got every color possible: green, yellow, orange, red, and had a bunch of green peppers left over, and just kind of threw them in the pot and wrote what I threw in the pot down, thankfully. And then this kind of salsa condiment like, almost relish type hot sauce emerged, which is what you're eating. And everyone loved it. They were like, "What is this? Like, this is the one you made by accident. I like this one best." And it's only because of the green one did I end up with the vision to create the rest, which was the marketing idea and the branding kind of vision came to life once the green one was made by accident. And then I had this idea around green, yellow, and red.
Just one second before you go, Tim, on this. I expected this one to be the least hot. Yeah. It's got a kick. It's got... So can I read your ingredients out?
Yeah, for sure.
Habanero, Thai chili, jalapeno, banana, cubanelle, and long hot peppers, garlic, onion, vinegar, lime juice, and sea salt. The one thing that's not in that, sugar.
Yep.
No sugar in these.
No, sir.
Which drives
no sugar, no preservatives, all natural. Mm-hmm.
So 1 for 1, it's awesome. So you said before that you started because you would go to restaurants and they just didn't have the right hot sauces. I'm the same way. I would go to a restaurant and say, "Do you have this, and do you have at least some sriracha?" We have nothing but the Frank's red hot sauce or something I just don't like. I would bring my own hot sauce to the restaurant too. Like, I think I got bugged for a couple of times. We were at restaurants and I brought my own. It's like, what are you doing? Right.
We go out once a month. We get a whole bunch of guys to go out once a month, and we have breakfast. And during this breakfast, Tim asked if he could have some sriracha. And there's like a sriracha shortage right now, right? I don't know if you know about that or not.
No.
So there's a sriracha shortage. Apparently the sriracha factory burnt down. You know, it always is the factory burning down. But anyway.
Or did it?
So Tim got salsa from the waitress.
Yeah.
And the salsa cost him
$2.
$2.
Just much salsa.
For a cup of salsa.
So next time I brought my sriracha.
So next time he comes in and he plops down his own bottle of sriracha on the table because they don't have sriracha. And the waitress just howled. She thought it was hilarious.
Well, she thought we all were great. So so going back to your story, as you originally had, were you not intending to market these, and you had one that you really liked, so you went to develop the other two? Is that correct from what I understand you saying?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 3 different flavors: fruity fire, flaming fire, and friendly fire.
Yeah.
How do they represent you as an individual and your business?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I mean, we'll start with the overarching name and incorporation. It's actually Fire Flamed Inc. And that's the name, and it comes from the nickname that my husband gave me when we first met. And I think I was just playing around with, you know, the saying these days, that's fire. That's good. That's cool. That's hot. And so fire was on my mind when I was thinking of these sauces, because we would taste them and we'd be like, oh man, that's fire. Yeah. And so Fire Flames, that was a given. That was always my nickname. But I thought, how can I name these sauces in a cute, fun, memorable way? And Friendly Fire obviously is the mild one. Fruity Fire has the mango pineapple sour, and then Flaming Fire is the hottest one. And so tried to find the adjectives with the F's, and away we went.
Before we go on to, and that's a great answer, thank you so much for that answer. Before we go on to test the next flavor, I have to know, why is that your nickname? I would like to know. I would like to know the history of it.
I've hung out with Jen. There's a lot of nicknames she's had in the years.
No, but I want to know that particular nickname that led to the flavor of the wing sauce.
Well, I was trying to honor him and his family, right? The inspiration behind him nicknaming me that, and me getting the idea from his family's kind of homemade recipe. And so I kind of try to tie it both together with our love story. And then you'll see kind of in the description of the story and the values, the mission, the vision, the value prop, etc. Our values and our stories tied to this brand. It's even the description will say, you know, garlic pepper love, mango pineapple mercy, and then green pepper peace. And so love, mercy, peace is a theme in our marriage, and without those values we would not be together today. So there's a whole other story about the purpose and the roots based in on our faith with regards to this product and this story.
It's fantastic. And like me personally, I know some of your story, so I love it, because I know that this comes from a passion. Like, this isn't just you throwing some ingredients together and putting it on the market. You've taken a lot of time with this. We're going to try the second one here. We're going to try Fruity Fire. I'm hoping it's not as hot as the first one. That was supposed to be the easy one.
You couldn't take the first one.
No, I'm just.
Yes. That one was too hot for him.
Will help you.
Yeah. Just on the record, Greg could not take the hotness of the first.
I took it. It's not a problem. So I got a question for you then. The Fruity Fire one. How did you come up with that, basically that combination of ingredients?
Yeah. So Friendly Fire, first off, just going back, it pairs well with eggs, sandwiches, seafood. Flaming Fire pairs well with pizza, pasta, etc. Or any hot sauce lover will probably eat the red one with anything. But the yellow one, Fruity Fire, is the last one I came up with, because I always loved mango and pineapple hot sauces, but I couldn't decide which one I should go with. And so I just combined mango and pineapple sour with the lime. And that one was to just kind of close the loop on the food pairings, because you'll notice that with these 3 sauces, they pair with almost all foods. I mean, the green one pairs with what I just said. Fruity Fire will pair with a lot of the meats, like chicken, pork, a lot of souvlaki type dishes. And then the red one pairs with, you know, specific things, but almost anything. So when you look at all 3 of them, I just thought I wanted to give the consumer kind of options in terms of mild, medium, hot, and then a bunch of options in terms of what it pairs with.
That's so good. No, it's like, okay. It's so good. Oh, and it does have kick to it.
It has a kick. I like the fruitiness. I like the kick.
Do we have water and or milk for you? Like
I'm
after
fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I like the kick. So I like, honestly, we've had the sauces here for a little bit since you sent them to us, because we waited for you to get back from your vacation, which, by the way, looked like an amazing vacation. So I hope you guys are re-energized and ready to go, because I think that this stuff's going to take off once people start trying it, because holy smokes, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, my mouth is watering.
No, if you get a close up, he's sweating. His nose is sweating.
I'm not.
He's sweating. Oh, he is. Question for you, Jen. Are these out to market already?
They are. We started just with, basic direct sales. I have a large network across North America because I run a staffing and consulting business. And then my husband runs a general contracting business. So of course, we gifted them to our clients and prospects. We sold them to friends and family first via our website and through Shopify. And then, there are some individuals that I don't know that have just purchased the sauce based on some promotion and some marketing. But the idea was just to launch and get it out before Christmas as a Christmas kind of gift, and just test the market to get feedback so that I know how best to scale this year. It's all about wanting to scale this sauce in the right way and partnering with the right people. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. And so your feedback is super valuable right now. So I hope you're not lying about how good it is.
No.
Trust me. There's no way. Like, Tim loves his hot sauces, so if he didn't like it, he would.
So both two have got really good kick. Both flavors are very, very different. I'm not a mango kind of a guy. The yellow one is more mango in its flavoring.
Yeah. Mango pineapple. Mango pineapple.
Yeah, my wife loves mango, so she'll be all over that. This flavor, the green pepper, is like, I have a lot of green sauces too that I really like, and so it's more down my alley. But they're both very, very, very good.
We're 2 for 2 then.
Absolutely. I have hot sauces in my eggs every morning. I'll have hot sauce on pretty much anything.
And the thing is, I don't know if you know this, Jen, but Tim challenged me to a no sugar January.
A dry sugar month.
A dry sugar month. So I've been having to make meals and stuff like that with no sugar. So like hot sauces like this, man, if you, just a suggestion, and I know that you've got a lot on your plate with this already, but if you made a marinade version of this, like a bigger like marinade type of style of it, you can marinate the chicken in that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I would be all over that like a fat kid on a Smartie.
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea as well, right? I've always been a bit of a health nut. And so, it's dairy-free, fat-free, gluten-free, no sugar, plant-based, like really made sure that I could make it as healthy as possible. And in fact, talking about a marinade, you could technically, I'm constantly trying all three, right? Because I'm a little obsessive about like every ingredient. I end up mixing them all together. So if you end up with all three of them in your plate and you want to mix them all together, they actually work well together.
I'm hiding this one from Tim because I feel like he's going to just take it and start drinking it. What do you mean hiding?
It's right here.
No, the rest of the sauce.
If you haven't seen when you're giving your answers, he gives me a certain amount and they ask for more. And he's reluctant to give me any. So I asked him to give me a little bit more sauce on this one. So why is it important to you? Like, health must be important to you if you're made these sugar-free, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that? Why your personal health or the health of your product is important to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I suffer from a lot of inflammation, and I was always taught by my holistic nutritional guru friends that, sugar is just evil. You got to cut it out. And I've been trying to cut stuff out for years, and sugar is one of them. And I feel like we're living in a world where people do care about what they're eating, and they care about the ingredients. I don't know about you, but when I go in the grocery store and I pick something up, I'm usually looking at the nutritional facts, and I wanted to make sure that when people turn this product around, they're happy with what they're seeing.
What drives me nuts is when I go to the store and there's one bottle of sriracha and the other bottle of sriracha look exactly the same, and one's got like 7 times the sugar. I have no idea. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's just me.
I got my sriracha and it has 0 sugar, which is great.
Yeah,
that one's hotter. It actually hits after the fact.
So, so this last one, because it's hot, is the hottest of the 3, obviously.
Yeah.
But they all had really good kick. This, like you said, this is more the traditional hot sauce, kind of the red kind of a flavoring, and then garlic. It's more like garlic pepper, right? That's what it says on the side, right?
Yeah.
And the more I look at the bottle, I really like how it looks.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It looks like a little flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea with the bottle, right? It's one of the things that kind of drove me nuts about any kind of hot sauce that was in my fridge is most of them is glass jars or glass bottles, which can break. So you can't really, it's a bit of a mess when you're bringing your bag. But the contamination was the biggest problem for me. You know, using a spoon for real good hot sauce usually comes in a jar. You got to use a spoon, gets contaminated. And so the packaging was really important for us because I really wanted people to be able to, you know, have a BPA-free plastic bottle with a pointed tip that you could squeeze the right amount of hot sauce that you want on your food without wasting it or contaminating it. And you could bring it in your bag like swag to whatever restaurant or dinner table you want. So
it's a good size for
bottles are very important.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie.
Well, I said you were sweating already.
The last one was a little hotter. Than
he was sweating after number 2.
It like they got a good kick. Like they got a good kick.
His nose is perforating sweat.
I should have put makeup on today. They have a great kick, and that's the thing is generally hot sauces you get like Frank's, and it's more of a harsh kick than a sweet, and then like this one follows up. This last one follows up, and it's actually getting hotter as I talk about it. So I might just stop talking. Go ahead, Tim.
I don't know. Have you ever done any hot sauce eating competitions with wings and all? Have you ever done that?
I haven't. Okay. I've seen many of them.
I've done a few of them, and you have to sign waivers. There was one in the city where I think afterwards I touched my hands to my face, and I couldn't see for like 2 hours. But anyway, I digress. Are you happy with the 3 products, the 3 flavors, or do you have any plans to expand that or not?
So speaking of the heat levels and then the expansion, heat levels was something that I was stressing about because I feel like it's going to be hard to please everyone. There are those hot sauce lovers out there that they like the sauce where you put 1 drop on the food and your whole mouth lights up on fire. And that's not what these sauces are. I mean, they're hot enough to be called a hot sauce, and obviously Greg's sweating, so that's good.
Oh, he's sweating.
I'm trying to cover it up here right now.
For some people, they're not hot enough, and for some people, they're too hot. So I kind of stressed about that for a while. It was like, man, going back and forth. Should I increase the heat? Should I decrease it? So all I did in the meantime is just made sure that there's kind of an equal level of heat going from the mild, medium, and hot. And from there, I mean, to actually make it official and end up on like the Scoville scale or something, that's a whole other process where you've got to be pretty consistent and lab test it and really promise that that's how many units it's going to be. And I'm not sure if we're going to go down that road because we're still kind of trying to source the right suppliers for scale. And you'd be surprised, but hot peppers from different countries, even though it's the same pepper, taste very different. And so I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out, you know, the heat level, if I should keep it the same. And then on the expansion side, I mean, probably a feature flavor of some sort. I've always been a huge truffle fan. There's one on the market right now that's probably the most expensive. So maybe something like that. But I really want to see if like the consumer wants that. And well, maybe that's, you know, down the road. Right now, we're just trying to tell people the story of, you know, how these 3 were born and go from there.
No, that's fantastic. I've really enjoyed the hot sauces. I think they're great. The wings, I did a good job on the wings too, right, Tim?
Oh, they're fantastic. You did air frying was perfect.
We air fried them, no breading, naked wings with just the hot sauce. So nothing to get between you and the chicken.
And just to backtrack with what you were saying, Jen, whenever I go to get wings at a restaurant, a local place in town, I'll always mix a sweet with a hot. And if it's too hot and it's not sweet enough, it doesn't taste as good. And if it's not hot enough and it just has sweet, then it doesn't have any kick to it. So I understand what you're saying as far as balancing those two out. For me, I love heat. And you actually had, and it was a perfect blend of like each of them had a different amount of heat to it. The last one,
you say amount,
yeah, amount of heat to it. So I think you've hit the right blend. I had a friend of mine who had the same kind of idea as far as marketing hot sauces, but people don't realize how much it takes to go from an idea to bringing a product to market, to do all these things, to make a profit out of it, and so that's just entails so much. I know you're in the middle of doing that.
And she's running another business.
Yeah, well, I assume a couple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this business. I help my husband with his business, and then my staffing consulting. And I also have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, so there's a lot going on.
Wow. How do you find the time?
Well, I built a great village, and I have a couple nannies and great people on my team. Otherwise, I'd be crying in a corner probably if I didn't have that.
Yeah, well, Chuck, you can't see him. He's off the corner right now. He is crying in the corner after trying the hot sauces.
He is not crying. Greg is the only one crying. He just wants somebody else to be in his misery. When Greg told me about you, we had certain things in common. I love hot sauce. We talked about that in the show. But the other aspect was I'm a Sanderson. I'm Indigenous. I'm Métis. And so we didn't know how comfortable you were about talking about your heritage, your background, and how that came into your formation of the sauces.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Maybe that's something you want to talk to us about in as long a form as you want.
Definitely. So on the Indigenous, I'm First Nations Ojibwe and French Canadian. And so the staffing and consulting business that I also run is certified Indigenous and women owned. And this organization, or this product here, this incorporation, I should say, will be as well officially. When I say certified, certified with Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business and CAMC, and these are diverse supplier kind of councils that certify businesses like ours and put us in a different category to, especially for large business that want to support and buy from diverse suppliers. And so, Indigenous and women owned is there as a differentiator. You'll see it on the box because I'm just another Indigenous entrepreneur and company out there trying to make a difference. And I do give back a lot, and I am involved quite a bit on the Indigenous side of things with my staffing and consulting firm, and also with some of the philanthropy work that I do. And so, I mean, that's the plan, is just use the platform and use my resources to give back and to just kind of fly that flag.
Wow,
that's fantastic.
That's amazing. That's a really good answer. It sounds like between you and your husband, you have just a background of always trying new things, new businesses, different ventures, and you're always inquisitive and you're always pushing for more and seeing what's better and better and better. I really, I can hear that in your answers. And those people like you and your husband really are the type of people that I always try to emulate. So good job.
Jen, I know that you're limited on time here, so we're going to ask just one more question here. How can people get these sauces?
So you can just go to www.fireflames.ca and you can order them right off the website.
Are you shipping internationally or just to Canada right now?
We're shipping across Canada. We even ship to a few people in the US. Shipping, it can tend to vary in terms of cost depending on where you are, and especially during the holiday season, it kind of got a little crazy. So I think I might have to negotiate some better rates with some of the shippers that I'm dealing with. But aside from that, social media channels, it's all Fire Flames Inc. You can find it on TikTok, on Instagram, and even LinkedIn.
We're going to link it in the description below here, where they can find the Instagram, and we'll put your website in the link below. No, this is great. I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat with us virtually here. I know that it took a little bit to get us on the same time frame, and I'm glad that we got a chance to, because the sauces are fantastic, and I think that once people start trying them, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have to start making more. So They're very good. So I appreciate you jumping on here, and I think we're going to do a giveaway with your sauce. We'll open it to Canadian residents only. What people need to do is look on our Instagram. There will be a post on there that will be on our Instagram and your Instagram, and if you tag your friends in it, for every friend you tag, you get a entry. And if you want, you can share it onto your story, and that'll get you an extra entry. And then bonus entry, if you subscribe to our channel and DM us a picture of your YouTube, subscribe to our channel, we will get you a bonus entry. This will be for Canadian residents only, as this is a Canadian company. And yeah. Anything that you want to add for that, Jen?
Yeah, no, awesome. I'm just really glad to be here, and I really hope that the audience can try the sauces and share them, and just really appreciative to be here. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for allowing us to try the sauces. They were fantastic.
Yep.
I love them. And Greg will recover sometime tomorrow.
Thanks, Jen. Well, Tim, I was sweating a bit. I was nervous for the heat.
You weren't nervous. It just hit
I wasn't
you like a ton
nervous.
of
You're
bricks.
right. It was good heat, though.
All of a
It
sudden,
was-
his hat just is going up. He's breathing heavily. It's like, what's going on?
We're trying to
We're
edit the
calling
breathing out.
911.
It was good sauce, and I appreciate Jen for joining us. It was a great time, and I think that people should check it all out.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it for sure.
You're gonna check it
I
out,
have a 18-year-old daughter that would love it for her birthday.
and the giveaway is going to be fun. Anybody that watches the show can
And apparently,
get a chance to.
I can't win.
You can't.
I've
win.
been told that I'm not allowed to enter, which
You are
makes me
not
sad.
available for the entries.
yeah.
So
Oh well. So
either way, how'd you like the show?
fantastic.
Yeah.
These are our first people that we talked to in studio.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a first.
Yeah. We have some other guests that we have interviewed. And we're going to get those ones coming out in the next little while. This podcast is, it's Friday, 8:30 a.m. on January the 26th today. If you're watching it on January the 27th, what the heck? What took you so long to get on? It's been on for a whole day already. Like, if you're watching on the 28th, you're already way behind. But
You have to tune in.
are we on the
8:30
day?
in the morning, Friday morning.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why not?
Yep.
Just subscribe.
Subscribe.
Share. Sharing
Like.
is caring. Like. Come on,
And
get on board. We are almost to 200 subscribers.
almost at 200 subscribers. And just to let you know, if you're watching right now on YouTube, great. Hit that subscribe button. But don't just do that. Go over to our Apple Podcasts and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And then once you're done that, because I know that took you all of 3 seconds to do, go over to Spotify and leave us a review on Spotify. All these reviews help us get more earballs filled with the Greg and
And
Tim Show.
if you're interested or like or dislike a segment that we have, talk back to us. Whether you agree, whether you disagree.
Just pretend you're Tim's wife. Talk back to him.
That's what we're talking about. In this episode, we have to be able to tell our opinions without someone coming down on us.
He's not going to like that comment, is she?
I'm trying to ignore it. You keep talking, and we're just going to move on. But you won't
Moving
let me.
on.
So yeah, agree, disagree, talk back to us. We want to hear from you, and that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line, because Tim Sanderson said so.
The Sandman.
Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Have a good week.
Have a great week.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.